All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And well, shit, looks like we need to make another intro too, because that one says Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as well. So we'll have to work on that.
Okay.
We're in the process of making some new thumbnails and stuff like that. As you probably saw, the thumbnail for the after party looks like it's a bit of a new one with just the Saturdays on there now, because that's what we're doing. We're just doing Saturdays now because it's a little easier on both of us. Anyways, today our guest of honor is this fella right here, all the way from across the pond in the land of the English. Mr. Cat in a Box is with us, and somebody made a funny comment on Twitter after I posted that we were doing the show. That was Michael, who basically connected the two of us. He said, if I look in, is he going to be alive or dead or something along those lines, like the whole Schrodinger thing, right? So looks like you're alive.
The stream is simultaneously on and canceled.
Yes, that's right. In some universe, somewhere else, it got canceled.
Yeah, it's canceled.
Anyway, welcome to the show, Cat in a Box.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm very honored to be here and not here at the same time.
Be here and not here at the same time? Well, we are both honored and not honored at the same time. How's that? I don't know.
Glad and
That's
happy.
how it usually works out.
Glad and happy we missed you.
Yes, it's amazing how many people on social media completely fail to understand what the reference is in the title, and they assume it has something to do with where cats do their business. I can't imagine why.
Oh, not that box.
Right.
Or cats just can't refuse going into boxes. If you leave an open box, there will be a cat in it within the next few seconds.
This is true. Yeah, they are undeniably drawn towards boxes.
Yeah,
I think that's why Amazon took off so big, is because like all the cats started seeing the commercials, like, look at all these boxes we could get. Quick, trick the humans to buy stuff from Amazon. And the rest is history.
Well, you don't need to trick me. I buy stuff from Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like an Amazon slut or something. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, welcome to the show, Cat in a Box. Basically, what we do here is we chat with folks about how they found their way free from their previous belief systems. So I'll leave it to you to tell us your story, and we'll listen. And if we have questions, we'll definitely butt in and ask our questions. So
fantastic. That's
take
great.
It away.
Thank you.
Thank you. A good way to start off is with your flavor of religion.
With my flavor of religion. Well, I was born into a reasonably secular Jewish family. So I say that because I think Jewish people do a fairly good job of being reasonably secular and religious. I mean, not religious,
agreed,
but identifying with that. I think, Neil, you know what I mean.
So
I was not heavily indoctrinated into religious belief as a child, but there was a flavor of tradition, and I was drawn to the esoteric. So when I was about 18, something like that, I got into
Are we talking like Kabbalistic type stuff? Or?
No, not actually related to the Judaism. In fact, the last religious Jewish thing I did was a bar mitzvah at age 13.
That
was the last thing I did. And after that, I was like doing my own thing. But I think for me, I got really drawn into, I read a book called Supernature. You guys ever heard of that? Mm-hmm. Lyle Watson.
Yeah.
And this was a really huge selling book. When did it come out? Like 70s or something? 70s or
80s? 76 or 7, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And this book really blew my mind. And it was about all this weird stuff that goes on. And it seemed to be very well referenced, and all the bullshit in the book had like the scientific studies that backed up all the stuff. And I was like, oh, wow.
Studies.
Yeah, the studies, right? So I was like, okay, so the world is clearly much bigger and more mysterious and more magnificent and more incredible than I previously thought. And I
which
felt
I agree.
Which of course it is, right?
Supernaturally, right?
Right. And then that book led me on to some other books. I remember becoming quite enthralled with books about the parallels between quantum physics and Eastern mysticism, the Tao of physics, and the dancing Wooly masters.
Deepak Chopra. Sorry,
I didn't quite get as woo as Deepak Chopra. I
okay, good.
Not quite. But I was like,
it's too popular.
I was kind of slightly adjacent to that. and again, it was this sense of like, I love the science and I love the sciencey sounding stuff. And I was very excited by the notion that reality was far more interesting and mystical and amazing than it seemed.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
and I was like trucking along in that slightly esoteric alternative lane. And then around age, going to say about 20 or 21, I read two books that completely changed everything. One was The Blind Watchmaker, Dawkins.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the other was The Demon Haunted World.
Carl Sagan. Yeah.
Now, both of those books completely changed my thinking. And I realized that my head was full of bullshit.
It's kind of unnerving at first, but it's very freeing afterwards.
My head is small. My head is small and full of lies.
Yeah, it's amazing how underrated the experience of being proved wrong about a load of stuff is. It's awesome. Like,
yeah, you're no longer wrong.
It is though, right?
That's almost what learning is.
It's almost like a roller coaster, because you get like the butterfly funnies and all that stuff, and it's just like, oh, holy shit, I was wrong. Whoa,
Yeah,
I was wrong.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was really, really liberating to realize that. And then what really seduced me from both of those books actually was the beauty of critical thinking and the ability to kind of apply a methodological approach of thinking to anything that anyone's saying. Is it someone trying to sell you shampoo? Is it a politician trying to sell you on their ideas? Is it someone telling you there's ghosts in the attic? Or is it someone telling you that Jesus is going to save your soul?
Right.
And I realized that the right approach to all of these things is the same approach. It's like, learn how to think better, learn how to consider arguments, learn what evidence means, learn that it doesn't matter if someone tells you they read a study that says potatoes know when you drop a lobster in water nearby, or whatever the kind of thing.
What?
There was a chapter in Supernature about they had discovered plants reacting in some kind of way to dropping lobsters into water nearby, and the interpretation of this was that plants are feeling empathy for the dying lobsters. It was just complete nonsense.
Well, there is a lot of new studies and actual rigorous studies where they now know that plants are somewhat sentient and they can communicate with each other. They can also react when you go to prune them. I guess they get nervous and they send all these weird brainy like signals throughout their body. And yeah, there's all kinds of neat stuff that they know about plants. And plants can see, which I found bizarre. Not the same way you and I see, but they can still see to some degree. So they know even
the light sensitivity.
Yeah, something like that, like very basic.
Well, they better look out, because it's
but of course this
time, grass man.
But this is a hallmark of most pseudoscience, right? Is to latch onto something that is true and then take it just that one step further and
stretch it out.
Just pervert it a little bit.
Just a tiny little bit.
Just make it wrong.
Just right. Yeah, just make it wrong.
Yeah.
Just falsify it.
Yeah.
Falsifying is good. That's how science works.
Right. Yeah. And so this led to a fascination with like, well, why do people believe all of these crazy things? And,
allegedly.
Hi, Dave. Sorry, we totally derailed you.
No, that's cool. Oh, it's cool.
Wasn't me.
I just saw someone in the chat. Yeah, Bigfoot hates it when you boil lobsters alive. Is absolutely right. Yeah.
Poor Bigfoot.
He's very sensitive, Bigfoot.
I know.
All these years of being kind of half ignored. It's very difficult.
He's a real people.
Well, him and Jesus are the world champions of hide and seek. So
they are. Yeah, it's a competition.
He's been counting for so long. Like, I don't even know if he's coming back, Neil.
I don't know.
You just keep counting.
I do know that we have lobsters in the fridge here for a big meal we're going to be doing. So.
Oh, excellent.
I'll try to keep the potatoes in another room.
They get very upset.
Yeah, don't cube the potatoes, because then they know what's up at that point.
Yeah.
It works both ways. The lobsters get very upset if you peel potatoes. Right. Lobsters can hear the potatoes scream. It's just
There's
like-
no way a plant can hear itself scream and a lobster can't
Yes,
hear
they
that
do.
same plant. So the
Yes, they do.
lobster's got to
Plants
be able
can
to
hear
hear
them
plant
scream.
screams.
Plants
maybe
make a
it's-
weird clicking noise when they scream.
Do they mean the Ents? Are the Ents going to come for us?
I don't know. Maybe
It's the Ents. It's Treebeard.
the Ents is near. So, yeah, there you go.
Put that on a t-shirt. Oh,
Anyway.
Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
So around about that time, I was also like started to get really interested in religion. Not so much like specifically in Christianity, actually. I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure what specifically sparked my interest. I think in the kind of early-ish days of the internet, I discovered discussion forums, and
Oh,
there used to be these like, this is pre-Twitter, pre-social media, everything like that. They were kind of like
Google
well,
Plus.
Yeah.
even well before that. Yeah, before this is probably pre
ICQ.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there would be these like quite well behaved, quite well moderated debates online. And
Yeah.
I loved that stuff. Like you could get into
Wow.
a proper debate with someone and there would be a peanut gallery, they called it, of people like watching and commenting in a separate thing.
Mhm.
And you could really think about your answers. And you weren't limited to 280
Yeah.
characters or whatever it was. And it wasn't real time. So you could have a proper debate. And I started getting into doing this stuff because it was just fun. And I really enjoyed it. And then around that time in the UK, they have this thing called the Alpha course. Have you guys ever heard of that? Alpha?
I have not heard of that. No.
So it's like an evangelical outreach project in disguise as a philosophy course.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. It was
Sneaky,
started.
sneaky.
It's a little bit sneaky. and they used to have, I don't think they really do anymore. They used to have these big like posters up all over the city saying, come and discuss the meaning of life, or come and discuss deep questions. And basically they were running this course in a number of different churches all around the place. And it was like an outreach project, but they were trying to draw people in to come and have philosophical discussions and get brainwashed into Jesus.
Let me hop in real quick. What a great piece of bait. It's like instead of putting like, a regular old lure inside the crab pot, they put like a filet mignon in the crab pot and threw that in the ocean and see what crawls in there. Because
I'd be in there.
Exactly. How do I attract all the gullible people into one spot? I'll get the deep thinkers. They're very gullible. They'll believe anything.
Yeah, and
The
it was
critical thinkers. Yes, come to me. Yes.
I get the impression that they weren't necessarily asking for critical thinkers, but it was like that. I remember their poster. It was like a big question mark and a little guy holding the question mark like he's struggling under the weight. And it was like, come and do the Alpha course. And I was like fascinated to see what this was like. And I was like, I'm going to do this.
Did you do it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did it 3 times because I did it at 3 different churches to see what it was like at the 3 different churches.
She says, and they'd feed you. Oh,
They
hell
feed
yeah.
you.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
in.
They
Yeah,
feed
they
you.
they got
free
me.
food, free friendly discussion.
And you're in
And
your 20s. Oh man, they got you. That was it.
I wasn't even there to pick up girls. Like I was just like, let's see what this is like.
You guys got some spaghetti and convo? I'm down.
I'm going to pick up that plate of food instead.
And
Don't want no girls. She might want some of this plate.
a couple of people even said to me, like, they're going to brainwash you. Like, aren't you worried about being brainwashed? Like, they're going to kind of get you. And I was like, well, let me see. Let me see what this is all about. And it was really interesting. Yeah. So it was like one evening a week. You turn up at the church, and they give you food, and then they do a talk, like half an hour, 40 minutes, a presentation. And then they split you off into little groups, and you talk. in the
Here
little
it
groups,
comes.
right?
Here it comes.
Once a week. And then after 11 weeks, you do something called the Holy Spirit Weekend, where you go away and you might get some meat. The Holy Spirit. So
Awooga! That's my warning sign. My warning siren is the awooga horn.
right, yeah. And I wasn't sure what to expect. So I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, they were never in danger of convincing me. And I can't imagine that they would be in enormous amount of danger of convincing anyone, although it's possible to overestimate the intelligence of people sometimes. But
Yeah.
the level of, I don't know, it was not a very sophisticated arguments that were being deployed. And it was quite underwhelming. I was slightly disappointed, if I'm honest.
They were doing their best.
Yeah, the course content relies quite a lot on mere Christianity, the C.S. Lewis.
Cat in a box.
Oh, what the hell? Got his own emote.
Yeah, and it's not a very sophisticated line of arguing. Have you ever heard the liar, lunatic, or Lord argument?
No.
So
I have
the
no idea what that is.
So the liar, lunatic, or Lord argument, this is just devastating.
Oh.
So they say, like, why is Jesus important? So they say, well, this guy, like, he made all these claims, right? Claimed to be God.
Mm-hmm.
And so he must have either been a liar or a lunatic or the Lord, because a liar, a lunatic, and Lord are the only possible options. Well, look at his behavior. Did he seem like a liar? No, he seemed like a straight up dude. Okay, so not a liar. Did he behave like a lunatic? I'm thinking,
Yes.
yeah, very much. But no, he was very cool guy. No, not a lunatic at all. Okay, well, that only leaves Lord. So he must have been Lord. Like, that's actually an argument these people make.
Wow. So just a regular guy is out of the question then, eh?
Mistaken, not a possibility. Claiming to be the Messiah, like everyone else around that time was claiming to be the Messiah. You know. So it was interesting. So I did this. The reason why I did the course 3 times, and this wasn't immediately one after the other. I did it 3 times over a period of maybe 5 or 6 years. The reason I did it 3 times was to see if the approach to the material differed from church to church, and if I did it in 3 very different places, and it was really different. So one was like, they were a little more sophisticated. They weren't young earth. They were a little better read generally. The arguments were still crap. Yeah. But they were like a slightly higher quality of crap.
Would they give you any specifics on like their science? I'm just kind of curious, because they'll be like, no, we're not young earth creationists. It's like, oh, okay, that's good. Wait, how old do you think they were at this? At least 10,000 years. It's like, oh man.
No, the slightly better educated ones actually were okay with an old earth. And I always think, like, okay, well, you're going to have to square that with your Bible, right? You're going to have a problem there. It's not my problem, but you're going to have one.
I foresee that you're going to have issues with this in the future.
Right. Add up some lineages there, and let me know how you get on with that. Let's work back from AD 70 and see where we end up.
A squared plus B squared equals. This shit didn't happen.
Yeah, it was not good. And then one of the other ones was so bad. They got into that whole, like, God is bigger than your logic stuff, you know, when they go with that.
For fuck's sakes.
I ended up printing off Christian articles on hermeneutics for them and giving them to them. Say, like, guys, you got to do better. Like, you got to do better than this. So it was funny.
Like, how would your human brain even understand what I'm trying to tell you, other than I need all your money and your wife should sleep with me now? Like, if your brain was just able to understand, just do this part for now. Like, I don't know what, like, that's such a wild claim. And then to, like, and now I draw profit from it is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. And so that period of kind of studying Christianity, I was like hungry to hear the good arguments. Like, Find me the good, not because I thought it was true. I never thought it was true. I wasn't. But that's the other thing. They all thought that because I was there, I must be seeking. Oh, you're seeking.
Right.
I'm not seeking. I'm just interested in how intelligent people in the age of quantum computing and the human genome mapping and the deep space field can believe a word of this crap. I'm fascinated. And I hear that this is a good sales pitch for it. So hit me. Let me hear it. I'm not seeking. And so that was interesting. And I think I was slightly disappointed that there weren't any better arguments. And then I found my way onto online stuff and Twitter, and I
all
thought
downhill from there.
Let me see if I can find some good arguments here.
Oh boy.
How much time you got?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear one. Just one. Yeah.
Here, just watch this 17 video playlist that I curated. This will totally prove my point. Each video is 4 to 7 hours.
That's right.
The lips and the words don't sync up, so that's odd. It does a flashing thing on the screen, but if you really want to understand
in mysterious ways.
If you really want to understand my argument, you'll watch all of these videos.
Right. And if you don't watch all of them, then that's a sign that you're not engaging intellectually, honestly, with the material, right?
That means you're conceding.
You're conceding. Yeah. You've given in. Yeah.
Just watch this 1,000-hour flashing light.
Yeah. I had a guy a few weeks ago who his thing was the Shroud of Turin. It's
oh, fuck.
That's the hill you're gonna die on, right? The Shroud of Turin.
Yes.
And again, he did exactly what Mikey just said. Here, watch this video. Look, it's an hour and a half long. I said, I'm not going to watch an hour and a half video. Can you condense the points into 20 minutes or something?
Give me the bullet points here.
Yeah,
give me the bullet points of something they've already debunked. No.
Just send me the debunkers video, okay? Just save me some time.
Right. Yeah. If you can't state your strongest argument in less than 10 minutes or 5 lines.
Yeah, what are we talking about at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's silly.
You just want a friend at that point.
And people say to me, why do you do this to yourself? And why do you do this? Why do you go online and engage with these crazy people? Especially being in the UK. Most people know this, but the role of religion in culture in the UK is very different to the US. It's not the kind of normal default here for people to be religious, and it's not scandalous to be an atheist and to be non-religious here. It doesn't have the same pejorative connotations that it does in the US. So you can live quite happily just being non-religious here, and you're not going to run into too many problems. So people say to me, why are you doing this? why do you care, and why are you doing this? I think for me, it's a couple of things. I like the sport of it. I just enjoy the sport of it. Yeah, it's fun, and it's it keeps you on your toes. There's still a part of me that's hoping one day maybe I might come across an interesting argument, a new argument, a different argument. Yeah, just
they seem to like to rehash the same old fucking shit. So I don't know.
There is nothing new. There is nothing new.
We're in repeats.
They try to repackage the old shit so it looks a little bit more flashy.
They're all the arguments are in syndication.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Occasionally they come up with a clever way of rebranding, right? So we're not going to call it creationism anymore. We're going to call it intelligent design.
Yeah, the classic reboot.
Yeah. So
intelligent design that's not so intelligent.
It's really unintelligent. And I did actually. I came off Twitter for a while. I was really in deep and spending far too much time doing this stuff, and I stopped for a while because I read this fantastic quote by Ricky Gervais. He said, arguing with idiots online is like correcting the grammar on the door of a public toilet you're never going to visit again. And I felt like when I read that, I felt like I'd had a cold water poured over me or something. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I don't need to do this anymore. I stopped for a while, but I kind of.
You can't help it though, right? Like that's
You
the point is someone should scrub some of this off though. And if we all did a little scrubbing, this damn bathroom stall wouldn't be so dirty.
I still
Right.
correct the grammar.
Yeah.
Glutton for punishment over here.
Yeah. Well,
You just
someone has to.
You just have like a red Sharpie on. You just like put the little carrot and then an
Little X
arrow
over there.
circle
try, but
with
here's
the
how it
SP
is.
for
Yeah, yeah.
spelling.
That's right. Yeah.
Hated that fucking red pencil.
So I am aware that people have had much more profound experiences of deconversion. I don't think that I had a religious deconversion as much as an intellectual deconversion in just like kind of learning to think better and learning to be more critical and really falling in love with the aesthetic of that. And it's like such a beautiful thing. Remember Sagan's baloney detection kit?
Yes.
Demon Haunted World. It's like, that's just genius, man. That's just such brilliant.
For listeners who may not know, let's talk about that baloney detection kit that they're talking about.
Brought to you by our friends at Oscar Mayer, who sponsored today's show.
My baloney has a first name. No,
M-O-U-S-E. Wait, what? What? That's what's in there. That's what's in the baloney. But tell us about this Carl Sagan baloney Bologna thing. Is it from
It's in the Demon Haunted World.
It's in Demon Haunted World.
Yeah, that book should really be required reading for everyone. Like anyone who hasn't read that book should read it because it's a really fun read. It's really enjoyable. It's really inspiring because his love of science and critical thinking and sound epistemology is just so beautiful. And it's really funny. And it's just really cool as a kind of manual for thinking better about ideas and stuff. It's brilliant.
Yeah. It's basically, it's a set of cognitive tools and techniques that fortify the mind against penetration by falsehoods, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's an example of something that would, so I'm in my, because you said baloney detector, I'm imagining a cardboard box that I have put on with marker, and it would be something that I would just like hold over. So what would my baloney, how would I apply said baloney detector?
Yeah,
if it was a fake thing.
It's like a bunch of principles, isn't it?
Like tenets is what they call them, I think.
Right. Okay. So what's a tenet I'm putting in the box?
So an example would be something like
how reliable is the source of the claim?
Right.
Does the source,
like verifying it.
Does this source often make similar claims? Have the claims been verified by another source? These are the kind of questions you can ask. Like it's almost like epistemology to a certain degree.
It is, yeah. Do they clash with existing knowledge that you that you believe with confidence? Like
or how does the claim fit with what we know about how the world works? Right, that's another way.
Right. I think he say something about the unreliability of anecdotal evidence. I might be getting confused with Shermer's book, but I think he touches on that too. It's really, none of this stuff is complicated. It's all basic stuff that anyone who's remotely interested in skepticism would kind of know this stuff, but he just packages it really beautifully, doesn't he? And is really concise.
Indeed. One thing he does mention, I remember now, is he says one thing you can ask is if anyone has gone out of their way to disprove the claim, or have they just sought out evidence that's supportive of it?
Yeah.
So the steel man is basically, okay, now you're telling it, and then you go out and you find evidence to support it, and then see about finding the evidence that disproves it or whatever like that. So yeah, that's one way you could go about doing that too.
Yeah, it's an excellent book. There's a really funny section in the book where Carl Sagan was involved he was running the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence project for some time. So
he's one of the people that started it.
He started it. Yeah, they have where they have the big radio telescope arrays, and they're kind of searching the heavens for signs of life elsewhere.
SETI.
SETI, exactly, yeah. So because he was doing that, he used to get all sorts of crazy mail from people who thought that because he was doing that, he must be like he's in with the aliens, right? He's pals with the Martians.
Can you tell Glick Glorp I'm so sorry and that I really need him to pick up my calls?
Glip Glorp?
So he there's a chapter in the book where he just includes like letters he was sent from people. Just the craziness is just brilliant. So funny.
Because that's a different kind of crazy, right? Because that's like 70s, 80s. I'm gonna do a handwritten letter. Like, can you imagine the script that it's written? Just crazed, this crazed handwriting just carved into the page.
Yeah, of course. And he talks about like that whole craze around the time of alien abductions and how what an incredible coincidence it was that all the accounts of alien abductions just happened to look like the representations of extraterrestrial life in 50s and 60s comics and graphic novels, and by sheer coincidence, of course.
It's because
I've got an alien here, actually. His name's Stitch right there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Love me some Stitch. I had no idea how funny that movie was.
Oh,
God,
awesome.
it's funny.
Oh, is that worth seeing? I've not seen that.
Oh, yeah. Lilo and Stitch is hilarious. It's great.
The kids' songs are way less annoying than modern kids' songs. I'll say that. Whew. Man, them 2000 kids' songs sound like Lion King compared to this Baby Shark bullshit y'all got to put up with. Oh, my God. It's terrible nowadays.
Yeah.
Lilo's got some bangers.
Let it go.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Fucking
someone figured out a few years ago that if you put the most annoying shit you can possibly create in the entire universe onto YouTube for kids, you make a fortune.
$1 billion.
Yeah, that Baby Shark thing is that's like a multinational company now or some shit.
100 billion.
Yeah, it's not good.
And they laughed at him because that amount of money didn't exist yet.
Yeah. And now they're into the trillions.
That's I'm gonna look and see how many plays that thing has. I have a rabid curiosity now. I have to know.
Oh, I don't know if they make numbers that big. Yeah, it's huge.
A Google.
It's all spin-offs now and branding and toys and
14 billion.
Speaking of toys, have you seen the new I forget the name of the company, RoboSense or something I think they're called, and they make the self-transforming Transformers. Like they've got Optimus Prime, they've got Grimlock, and now they've got Megatron.
Self-transforming.
When you say Megatron, he goes, "What's wrong?" He says, right? Like instead of like, "Hey, what's up?" So it's just transform, and he goes, and he transforms from the tank into Megatron. It's fucking.
That was
awesome.
really good, Neil. That sounded just like that shit.
Well, I could do Optimus Prime. So
that was really good.
I didn't have enough
Transformer voice going on, haven't you?
No, your transform sound was like fucking.
Oh,
it sounded just like it, and I was like, "What the? How are you doing that?"
I don't know. Lego's already happened tons of mice. That's what's the what do you call it there? Stitch's Lego. It's a Lego minifigure.
I have a question.
We already had the Lego
right there. About the deconversion. Yay. What was the area of study that you kind of dove into head first once you kind of were like, I'm kind of feeling like this is all kind of bullshit? Was there something like, I wasn't allowed to look this up before, so this is my oyster today?
Yeah, I mean, again, I was fortunate in that I was never restricted. So nobody ever said, like, you can't go there or you can't think this. But the thing that really opened me up was reading about biological evolution. And Dawkins, in the years before he got involved in the God delusion and kind of all the religious stuff, he's just a really incredible science writer. So I read all his books. I mean, the first one I read was The Blind Watchmaker, and then River out of Eden and climbing Mount Improbable and the extended phenotype and unweaving the rainbow. He just does such a beautiful job of explaining this stuff in a way that a simple person like me can just get it and visualize it and understand it. So I think that was really the area for me that also then, when you understand that, it really does eliminate most of the kind of arguments from design, because you just don't need a designer, and here's an alternative explanation which happens to be backed up by an absolute ton of evidence as well. And
hard to deny.
I mean, people try. Well, they do. Some people seem to find it very easy. Right?
Nuh-uh is my argument. Nuh-uh.
Nuh-uh. Yeah, I use that one too sometimes.
We have this whole fossil record. Nuh-uh. That's not.
Yeah.
How is it a fossil of a living thing if it's fossilized? Boom, science in your face.
Yeah.
In your face.
If humans came from monkey, why are there still monkeys? Smarty pants. How's that?
Yeah. And I'll believe evolution when you show me a dog give birth to a giraffe.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Because that's what all serious biologists believe happens.
That's what happens every time a little mommy out there in the wild gets pregnant. Who knows what kind of animal could
It's
come
just
out.
random. It's just random.
It is chaos out there.
Yeah. Sometimes when a dog has a whole litter, the first one is a puppy, the second one is a fish, the third one is an elephant. It's just random.
Yeah. And then a mosquito.
Alligator. Yeah.
And a mosquito. Yeah.
And a sunflower.
That's it. Because that's what we all think.
We're atheists.
Oh yeah, we all think that.
Yeah.
It's like the meme where you see Ace Ventura coming out the back of the rhino, and they said this is what creationists think, right? He's coming out of the back end of the rhino in the movie.
I don't it doesn't serve any atheist to like think ridiculously crazy things. Like no one thinks dogs will make, I don't know, flying dogs in the future, and then those flying dogs will evolve jets, and then there'll be jet flying dogs. Like no one has. I mean, I would really enjoy that, but I am also aware that it's not a probability. But it is very strange that if you want to know anything about the Bible, ask an atheist, and if you want to know something about science, probably also ask an atheist. It's just because we have to fight all these other ridiculous claims, so you end up with all of these extra little side missions filled in your brain about biology and evolution and planetary formation. It's like I didn't know I had to look this up until I listened to Kent Hovind for 45 minutes tell me that arguing about nonsense, and it drove me insane.
Yeah. And I think that you have the two different types, right? So you've got the people who genuinely know what they're saying is bullshit, and that they are straw manning you to high hell, right? They know that that's not what evolution says. They know that nobody with a brain thinks that stuff, and they're deliberately misrepresenting it to make it sound dumb, so then they can say you're dumb. And then you have the other strain of people who just have never read a book, and they actually think that that's what it means. So when I get into engagements with creationists online, I quite often ask them to tell me what they understand by evolution. What do you think it really means? What do you think it means? And what do you think I think it means? And you can sometimes get to the heart of the issue pretty quickly doing that, because they'll often tell you a bunch of nonsense, and you can just tell they're not being disingenuous. That's just what they think.
Yeah, they're not so much scummy, just wrong. It's just dead wrong about the issue, but have no. And I feel bad for people because they have no self-correcting mechanism. Like there's no code in their brain to, if you run into an error, fix the error and then move forward. It's just like, oh, there's an error, reset. Nope, we're good.
Right. Yeah. And the phrase doxastic closure, right? So they're just completely unavailable for having their opinions modulated in any way at all. I would hate to live like that. Like, how are you going to learn anything? You're like, this is the set of ideas I have. This is it. That's it.
I'd be scared. I'd be fearful of everything because you only have 2 tools to solve the entire world.
Yeah.
And then I thought once, like, and I sometimes create these little memes and post them in the threads if I'm getting into it with someone. and I was like, imagine if
your style.
It was fun, right? I said, like, imagine if every time in human history we'd come across a problem to solve or a challenge in our understanding, and we've just said, well, God did it, and it's because of God, and that's the end of the discussion. Think of all the problems we would not have solved. Think of all the progress we wouldn't have made. And like, God did it is just such an absolute capitulation
Cop-out.
to lack of progress. Yeah, it's just like you're done.
It's a cop-out.
It's a cop-out, and you're not going to... It's lazy, and it's like saying we're content with the understanding that we have now, and with no desire to increase it, no inclination to learn anything, and no openness to having anything challenged. Well, you're done then, aren't you?
Yep.
We would have no vaccines.
Which,
we would
to
have
me,
no medicines.
To me, that just demonstrates the point that it's all bullshit because they're not willing to at least open to see what they believe is real or true. So to me, they're saying, no, this is it. And you can't convince us otherwise. Well, then you're already fucked because you're stuck in a place where logic and reason doesn't exist. You're just going to accept what you've been taught is real as being real instead of investigating it like a good scientist would. Not that they're scientists, most of the ones that believe that shit. But anyway, that just tells me that you believe in something that is a falsehood completely. And you're unwilling to accept that and to change it if you can.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's it. Yeah. The other one I get
lightning strikes. Thor did it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the end of the discussion. And the other one that you get is you must be sad and angry and mad with the world, right? You must be, because that's it.
Oh, kitty.
What? Oh, yeah, this is one of the keys. Yeah. Why would you? How could you possibly not be sad and angry and hold the views you hold? Like, I just don't understand that. Like, really happy. I love life. I'm not sad and angry at all. Do you think that's just is that projection or is it diversion? Or what's that about?
Yeah,
probably
that's
both.
Projection. And for me, I feel like that's 100% projection, because aren't you embarrassed about what you're doing out there? Aren't you embarrassed? And that's why you're yelling right now. Like, it's exactly, you're embarrassing this whole family. Aren't you embarrassing this whole family? I think you are. Hit dog will holler every time.
Looks like your cat's got the zoomies.
Yeah,
I just see the shadow in the background. He's a big cat.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, and they go nuts around this time of night. But I don't put them in a box.
No.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
There we are.
Parochial education, authoritarian parenting, and foreclosed identities. On the head right there.
Yeah. Mephisto knows that is right.
That's a new name in the chat. Welcome, Mephisto.
Oh, Mephisto's cool.
Always looking for guests. FYI.
Highly recommended.
Sonia, kitty.
Way to pay attention to the important parts. So, well, I guess cats are important.
Yeah.
At least they think they are.
I already explained to you about how Amazon became the biggest company on the planet. It is the boxes, man. The cats needed the empty boxes.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it. Yeah. Do you think you can buy empty boxes for cats on Amazon? And if so, would they come in another box?
2 for 1.
They might put it in one of them bags.
Oh, no.
And then they put it in the big plasticky bag thing.
And then you got to put it together.
That's right. You got to tape it up.
You got to tape it. It's got hinges.
I got a tape gun, so we're good. I'm ready to go. And I actually have packing tape that is white with Canadian flags on it. So you know where that package came from.
The Maple
Or somebody
North.
posing as a Canadian.
Or someone who bought the tape. Aren't you embarrassed? And that's why you're yelling right now. I once had that as my fourth wife.
Fourth wife.
Oh, tons. Tons has many wives. Neil, you had a question, and I think I kind of stepped on it.
That's okay. I just wanted to know about your early life, like while you were, let's call it pre-bar mitzvah and stuff like that. Did you have to do the Hebrew school thing like I did?
Not much. Yeah, my parents dabbled with that for a short while and sent my brother and me to those kind of lessons. It didn't go well. We weren't interested. We weren't feeling it. And my parents were pretty cool.
But I had no choice.
They were okay. They were pretty relaxed about it. I mean, the interesting thing is that on my mother's side of the family, if you go back 2 generations on her side of the family, I come from a long line of fairly distinguished rabbis, like many of whom are in history books and written about in stuff like that. So
look at you.
it's like and Jewish people take that kind of lineage quite seriously.
Yes, they do.
But given quite how badly lapsed a Jew I am, it's pretty scandalous that I would have strayed quite so far from
broken the chain.
Oh yeah, I mean big time. I broke the chain, melted it down, turned it into
reformatted it into a bong.
Right.
You turned into a grill.
Yeah. It's just, and I think in terms of the Judaism, I think the thing that I find that there are really nice things about
L'chaim time.
No, sorry, go ahead.
There are nice things about Jewish culture. There are elements to Jewish culture that I appreciate. There's some kind of food and music, and there's kind of some of this kind of family values and stuff are quite nice.
Sure.
But you can get all of those things without buying into the crazy misogynistic racist cult.
Yep.
And so like, when I've had discussions with family members where they're like, they're not giving me too hard a time about it, but they say like, aren't you sad to have left your tradition behind? I said, no.
You say anything about leaving the tradition. You just don't believe the bullshit that goes with it.
I just don't believe the bullshit. I don't believe the bullshit. And that's it. And it's not even just that I don't believe it. It's that I find it morally disgusting. Like
right.
How can anyone hold the book of Numbers under their arm and not feel ashamed?
Yeah.
Moses is like the superhero venerated figure of the Old Testament. The guy is like, if that dude was alive today, he'd be he didn't exist, and he didn't write in detail about the circumstances of his own death. But if he was alive today, like that dude would be in The Hague. Like war crimes central.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy was like the Saddam Hussein of his day.
He's like, follow me. He's like, you're going to prison, sir. What the hell are you talking? I'm not following you to the gallows. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's just disgusting. And so the racism and the misogyny, there's no getting away from it. So yeah. I can have some nice chicken soup and I can enjoy that, but that's about where my line ends.
Oh, come on. Potato latkes.
I can do a latke, yeah.
The classic donuts and, and stuff like that goes along with it's all about the food, man, is what it is.
Yeah, the Jewish carbs.
All about the food. Yeah.
The carbs.
Exactly. Jewish carbs, yeah. Oh, so much good food. Oh.
Carb me up.
Yeah.
It's funny. Recently, I spoke with my sister. We were talking about Passover, and I was saying, none of that's real. And Moses didn't even exist and all that. And she hates it when I go on these tangents. She's like, well, I choose to believe it. No, you were convinced, and that's why you believe it. But it's not true. Try to unconvince yourself. She's like, So I didn't get invited to the Passover dinner.
No.
So I didn't get my matzo ball soup this year. I'm gonna cry now. But yeah, no, she kind of left me in the dust over that one, I think.
But I find the Passover thing particularly egregious. So I actually wrote an article for the Skeptic magazine it was about 10 years ago, called Passing on Passover. And
really?
Yeah, it was in 2000. Actually, it was more than 10 years ago. I think it was 2009 or 10. And the crux of the article was that I had really nice memories of Passover nights as a child, because it's really nice. Everyone sits around at the low table. You get presents. You go and they hide the little bit of matzah, and you go and find it, and you sing songs, and it's like you get to stay up late, and it's all cool. And
yeah,
and I got invited to a Passover night, like in adulthood, after having not participated in one for many years. And I remembered the nice warm child memories. So I thought, okay, I'll go and see what this thing is like. I'll allow myself to be welcomed into the warmth of another family's Passover night, because I'm not having any more in my own world. And we sat there, and the tradition is that everybody passes around the book called the Haggadah. And everyone gets to read a little bit of it. And everyone's like reading their bit, sounding a little bit kind of crazy. And it came to me, and I like read my bit, and I was listening to the words that were coming out of my mouth. I was like, this is some lunatic shit going on right here, right? And the essence of this story, if you think about it, right, what is Passover about? Passover is a celebration of the collateral damage of war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
much, yeah.
The Jews are supposedly enslaved to the Egyptians, which we now know they never were.
Right.
And Moses is trying to get Pharaoh to let them go. God's hardening his heart, so he's not doing it. So then all these terrible plagues get visited on the poor, innocent Egyptian people who had no say whatsoever in the Pharaoh's decision. They're just chilling. And now they're like blood and locusts and their firstborn kids.
Yeah, they're all missing their firstborn.
They're all missing this is disgusting. And now we're like sitting at this table with little like bits of food to symbolize the different horrible things that were done to these poor, like, this is really not okay.
What are we doing?
It's just really not okay. So that was another moment for me,
it's
like
pretty horrifying.
Reflecting on Passover. It's like, we understand that some wars are necessary, but we don't celebrate the collateral damage of war. It's not something that we denounce that shit. We do not feel good about that. Yeah. Count me out.
There's examples right now today that are going on, and it's just like, holy fuck, people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's wow. It's just crazy what's going on out there. And you know what? You could say, oh, it's not based in any belief system, but it absolutely fucking is based in belief systems. Any of the wars that are going out there right now, some sort of ideology is what creates this shit.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we're either too stupid or too afraid to put that shit aside, just to shake hands and say, you know what, we all have to live here. Let's get along. But no, let's just kill each other and take over your fucking land. Mind you, humans have been doing that since there have been humans. But I think we've evolved to a point where we could set that shit aside.
Yeah, I agree. And lest I'm accused of not being sufficiently nuanced, there are some positive aspects to the Passover thing too, right? So it's they're celebrating the concept of emancipation and freedom, and
sure.
There are positive. I don't want to make it sound like the whole thing is like a terror show, but it was more just that concept of not reflecting on, even nothing in there about reflecting on how bad it would have been for the innocent people caught up in all of that stuff. Not just how glorious it is that God came through for his people and kind of fuck everyone else.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
It's good to be favored.
Sure.
End of sentence.
Yeah, life is good when you're on the winning team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What's this it says here? Sucks to suck. Huh. That's all it says on that page. Huh.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
What?
Yeah.
That's scriptural. It's nice if you got
Mikey 3:13. It sucks to suck.
Yeah, and if you got it, good for you. If you don't, you should have had it. Like that's oh, okay.
Kind of a douche canoe thing to say. I think.
Glad I believe in this. What the fuck is this book? I don't even. just instantly lose as soon as you crack it open. It's like, oh, this is great.
So before we get out of here and get into the after party so you can meet all our other crazy friends. Yes, I'm talking about you, chat. Nah, they're good folks. They come and they support us, and we appreciate everything they do for us. So it's always
this is
awesome.
live?
We're live? Wait, what? Is this on YouTube? I feel like this is on YouTube and Twitch. Anyway, we kind of like to ask our guests a question. Like, you, like me, weren't super religious the entire time you've been alive, really. You might have had brief moments of, well, mom says God is real, so please, God, help my friend get over his cancer type thing once or twice. But if you could go back in time and see yourself, your younger self, what kind of advice would you give to younger you?
Yeah, I mean, if I could go back in time and get to myself at about age, say, 12, I would plant the seeds of critical thinking then.
Okay.
Really, because I wasted quite a lot of mental bandwidth from about.
I hear you. I feel you.
From about 14 to about 21, I read too many books that, frankly, were a complete waste of time, and I could have read better books. And so I might have been.
I went even longer. I became a witch, for fuck's sakes.
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't become a witch, but I kind of think, I get frustrated sometimes. There's not enough time in a human lifespan to learn all the shit I want to learn, right? So I wasted 6 years learning a load of old nonsense, and if I'd been reading better stuff then, I would be 6 years further ahead now. So that's really, I think, what I would do. I was lucky. I wasn't hammered down by religion, and I didn't have to escape anything, and my parents were cool like that. But I wasted my own time with silliness.
And that's the worst.
Yeah, I did too. I'm not going to say I regret it, because there was some fun involved with all that as well. But looking back on it, I go, man, how did I fall for that? Like, I got out of one bullshit belief system into something else that might seem kind of, neo cool and all that, like, paganism and druids and blah and yada.
You ever heard of the druids, Neil?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to send the Ents.
Oh no.
Anyway, and then I sort of think, like, how did I fall into that BS too? But it ended up I was dating a girl that was a Wiccan, so I kind of fell into all that shit. Yeah.
Well, dating a girl who is something is quite often a route to falling into.
Yes. But yeah, I'm well over that now. I have been for many years now. So
Garden of Eden.
It took to my 30s to do that, though. So
yeah, well,
I have those moments where you were dumb once. Well, no, I was just gullible. Not so dumb, but gullible. But anyway. And I keep all those books that I had purchased during those times just to remind myself, never fall down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah, I've got a few of mine as well. Interesting. Yeah, I have a few of mine, complete with notes and everything. Yeah.
Nice. Little footnotes inside. This is crap. This is bullshit. This is wrong. This is...
No, at the time they were more enthusiastic. At the time it was like, this is interesting. This piece of complete bullshit here is fascinating.
Fascinating bullshit. Actually, I write a book called that. Fascinating bullshit.
I would buy that book
to go around.
Let's do it.
Part one.
Right. Let's co-write a book called Fascinating Bullshit.
I actually started writing a book along those lines, and then I stopped because I realized that this was a few years ago. That other people like Michael Shermer and people like that had kind of were doing it better than I could, so I stopped doing it.
Well, how do you know?
It's odd to me that so many of them have turned into kind of douchey people now, like
isn't
Dawkins and Shermer.
It is interesting. It is interesting that some of these people are not the heroes perhaps we
once thought.
I mean, the thing is, I look at Dawkins and I still love his science writing. Like, I'm not particularly interested in anything he has to say these days, particularly
with his mouth.
With his mouth, and I know he's pissed a lot of people off, and a lot of people find his views on certain things very, very upsetting, and I completely understand that. I'm able to kind of look past that when I read his earlier books, just because they did so much in opening my mind and
Yeah, that's kind of the way I view it too.
Learning about stuff and learning about the appreciating evidence and learning about the beauty of evolution and stuff like that. But you're right, quite a few of these people are not quite the heroes perhaps we thought they were, and maybe there's a lesson in that. Maybe we don't need heroes. Maybe we just
I agree.
People say smart things, people say dumb things, and we can be
myself
discerning
included
about that.
It's
all of us.
It's weird. It's like when we got social media, it was supposed to be this great democratizing of like social credit, right? Like everybody could go viral with a post, everybody could be funny, everybody could do everything. And what did we do? We took all the people that were already big and famous and popular, and then all of their accounts are now the big accounts, and we do the same thing. So it's like we almost had it. We were right there at the door, and we decided, no. Smash rock into Batman face. Smash rock into Batman face. And it's like, okay, well, we were almost there, but we almost did it. We almost did it. We could have all been the same, but it didn't work that way.
Not quite.
And I blame Neil.
Yeah, well, it's all my fault. I'm the world's scapegoat. You know that by now.
It's just so popular online that people just started wars over it, and that is why it's called X now. Fun fact.
It used to be good. It's X good.
It's just terrible now.
It's fucking why X? Like what the hell? It was fine as Twitter. Everyone knew it as Twitter. Why would you change a brand that's
such
popular?
A dick move. And now it's like you can't post anything without like Maria, who's got like plastic chest and puffed up lips, agreeing with my views on postmodernism. Like it's just,
and then throws a link to her OnlyFans in the chat.
Right. Yeah. She's got 2 followers and she wants everyone can find out how they can have a good time with her. But she definitely likes what I have to say about logical positivism.
Oh my God, you're so smart. Click this.
Yeah. Want to point me to that one?
Yeah, I'll give you her number later. Yeah.
For research.
Did you get that one off the bathroom wall? Didn't correct the grammar on that one. Right? How do you correct numbers?
I'll take that number. Thank you very much. I will destroy it properly.
It's one of my favorite Faster Pussycat songs. Is "Got Your Number Off the Bathroom Wall."
There you go.
God.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what do we got here? Oh, here we go. Oh, first of all, thanks for the super chat, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Neil's equivalent of "It was me, Barry." Reverse flash meme. Yeah, pretty much. That's my adopted daughter. There. That's Jen.
I gotta watch that show again.
The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
The movie or the TV series?
The series. I kind of like the series, and then I just stopped watching it. Just get away.
It was campy and good at the same time, so it was
right.
And it was filmed here in Vancouver. All of that shit was like the Arrow, the Flash, all of it was here.
I was about to say all the shows are done like down your street. You got freaking Daredevil jumping from building to building. You got Luke Cage downstairs.
No. The Luke Cage
Spider-Man.
stuff that was east. That was I think Toronto and stuff like that. Or no, it was in the U.S. too. New York. Anyway, well, that wraps up I think our hour here. We've gone a little over, but you're being a trooper and staying up late. So I figured why not? We could dip.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, sir. Been a pleasure. You and I went through some very similar routes to our becoming critical thinkers. You fell down the same rabbit holes. I was a little longer, but still the same idea. The bar mitzvah thing, and pretty much at that point, I was like, I don't believe this crap, but I'm going to do this anyways because we get presents and money, and it was awesome.
It was definitely the best. That was the best paid day of bullshit I've ever had.
Exactly. I still have the very first cross pen that I got for my bar mitzvah when I was a kid.
I got one too.
My armor. Yeah. Those are common gifts. And then you get sometimes you get subscriptions to magazines and stuff from people. And
oh man.
Yeah. My first Sports Illustrated.
Get like a Popular Mechanics. Oh my God. That was like pornography for like little me. Oh man.
I had the Sports Illustrated because that's what I think one of my uncles or something got me that subscription. And every year I was
Potato Latka monthly.
But
I can't laugh at that. That's not my joke.
Too bad you couldn't eat the magazine and it tasted like potato latkes.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say exactly the same thing. Get that centerfold and scratch his nib. Centerfold.
Right off the presses.
Right, yeah. Right out of the oil. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up, guys, and head into an after party. If you guys want to be a part of the after party, let this gentleman here, Mr. Mikey, know. We've got his where's it? Mikey Famine. Yeah, there you go. At MikeyFamine@gmail.com or whatever. Also,
all the socials.
The socials, you can find them there too and drop them a line. If you don't have Mikey on anything, I guess you can bug me and I'll get one to you.
At 604 Atheist.
Yeah, on Twitter or 604atheist@gmail.com. And we'll get you guys set up for the after party. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us in the chat today. Always great having you guys in there. Sears catalog. Yeah, that's right, Duke. Hey, Duke. You guys are awesome for hanging out with us. We appreciate you being here and being a part of the show with your silly comments and stuff. We like them.
Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new.
Link and subscribe. Yeah. And if you're interested in any of the music that Mikey and I do, we have links for that down below. You heard it in the opening, and you'll hear some new stuff coming up soon as well. Also, thanks to our patrons. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. So we appreciate you guys for everything you do for the show. So that's about it. And I'll cap this one off as I always do at the end of the interview section, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, "It's called faith because it's not knowledge." And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Woohoo!